Today, my topic for the presentation is Types of Research. Experimental research. The present lecture has been prepared by Dr. Shokeen Bilal, presently working as an assistant professor in the Department of Higher Education. Dear viewer, please watch the entire video. The video will be followed by MCQs based on the presentation. Dear viewer, let us first try to understand what is experimental research. It is a scientific method used to investigate the cause and effect relationships between variables. It involves manipulating one or more independent variables to observe their impact on a dependent variable while controlling for extraneous factors. Here are brief points about experimental research. Objective. The primary objective of experimental research is to establish causality by demonstrating the effects of one or more independent variables on a dependent variable. Controlled environment. Experiments are conducted in controlled settings to eliminate or minimize the influence of extraneous variables that could affect the results. Experimental group. The group exposed to the independent variable or treatment, which is the group of interest in the study. Control group. A comparison group that does not receive the independent variable or treatment, used to assess the impact of the treatment. Randomization. Participants are assigned to the experimental and control groups randomly to ensure the groups are equivalent at the beginning of the study. 6. Manipulation. The independent variable is deliberately manipulated by the researcher to observe its effect on the dependent variable. 7. Example 1. Testing the impact of a new teaching method, independent variable, on student test scores, dependent variable, by assigning one group to the new method and another to the traditional method. 8. Dependent variable. The outcome or response variable that is measured to assess the impact of the independent variable. 9. Independent variable. The variable that is manipulated by the researcher to examine its effect on the dependent variable. 10. Hypothesis testing. Researchers formulate hypotheses, often including null and alternative hypotheses, to test the expected impact of the independent variable on the dependent variable. 11. Experimental design. Researchers choose the appropriate design for the study, which could be a pre-post design, randomized controlled trial, RCT, or factorial design, among others. 12. Statistical analysis. Data collected in experimental research is analyzed using statistical methods to determine if there are significant differences between groups. 13. Internal validity. The extent to which the experimental design accurately reflects the true relationship between the variables being studied. 14. External validity. The generalizability of the study's findings to the broader population or real-world situations. 15. Blinding. Researchers and participants may be blinded to the group assignments to reduce bias and ensure objectivity. Dear viewer, let us solve some important multiple-choice questions from the presentation. Question 1 is, what is the primary objective of experimental research? Describing phenomena. B. Establishing causality. C. Exploring attitudes. D. Generating hypotheses. Correct answer is B. Establishing causality. Question 2 is, which group in an experiment receives the independent variable or treatment? Experimental group. B. Control group. C. Dependent group. D. Randomized group. Correct answer is A. Experimental group. Question 3 is, what is the role of the control group in experimental research? To receive the independent variable. B. To assess the impact of the treatment. C. To eliminate extraneous variables. D. To provide a baseline for comparison. Correct answer is D. To provide a baseline for comparison. Question 4 is, what is the dependent variable in an experiment? The variable that is manipulated. B. The outcome variable being measured. C. The variable used for randomization. D. The variable that remains constant. Correct answer is B. The outcome variable being measured. Question 5 is, why is randomization important in experimental research? To ensure that the experimental group is larger than the control group. B. To minimize the impact of extraneous variables. C. To manipulate the independent variable. D. To eliminate the need for statistical analysis. Correct answer is B. To minimize the impact of extraneous variables. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Education and Teacher Education.